Welcome to the Thick and Spooky Ghouls podcast, where we discuss all things strange, paranormal, and unexplained.
These episodes are live recorded on Twitch and cut to fit Spotify's format. If you want to catch us live, we do our podcast once a month on Twitch.
All right, we're back. I hope you guys are having fun. Thank you for everyone that's joining us. I appreciate you guys joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the first topic. We covered the Bermuda Triangle. And now we're going to get back into the chat and, listen to Zawko and listen to what Zawko's topic is going to be. Thank you for sending messages in the chat. Sassy, I appreciate you. And let's go ahead and get in there and say hello to the Sassy and the Zawko again, shall we? All right, we're back. Woo.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Zawko.
We be back. And
Guess what, Zawko?
look at this.
What?
It's your turn.
Okay. So for my topic, I decided to choose how creepypastas and internet stories affected real people in real life. So I have two cases to talk about. The first one I feel like a lot of people are going to know about, but this is the Slender Man case.
Yes.
So I want to start by giving you all a little bit of history on Slender Man, like where Slender Man started, how Slender Man kind of got popular. So Slender Man actually started, funnily enough, from a Photoshop contest.
Mm-hmm.
So in June of 2009, this guy named Eric, he posted a photo of actually a series of photos onto this forum that was having a Photoshop contest. And essentially the challenge was, hey, take a normal image and make it look paranormal. And so he submitted 2 black and white images of Slender Man, both with fake captions. One that read, "We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them," and another photo that claimed that several children disappeared after the picture was taken.
Yeah, we actually covered the Slenderman for our internet lore episode. I only covered the case with the stabbing, though. That's the only one that I covered for all of the Slenderman's ones, so I want to hear the rest.
Well, that's kind of the case I was mentioning, but...
Oh, yeah, do it.
So, yeah, basically, like I said, he submitted these 2 fake images, and it did pretty decent on the forum. But I think what really worked about it was that there wasn't any kind of explanation or origin for Slender Man. It was just, here's these 2 images with these captions. And I think that's what really frightened people. Of course, over time, the internet kind of took a spin on it and, changed different parts of the story, uploaded their own versions, uploaded artwork. All these different things with Slender Man, but really what made Slender Man super popular was this YouTube series called Marble Hornets. Now, this was a found footage series. It's about a film student who actually finds his friend's camcorder and sees all of this strange footage, including Slender Man.
Wait, what is it called? Hold on. Was it called Marble? Hold on. What is it called? Marble Hornets?
Marble Hornets. Marble Hornets.
Did they also cover Hero Brian? Did they also cover Hero Brian?
Honestly, I'm not sure about that one. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's been a while since I watched it, but the reason I mentioned this series is because it not only did it make Slender Man more popular, it actually introduced an idea that would become very popular in the community of people who watched and read Slender Man stories, and that's the idea of proxies. Now, proxies are people who are essentially manipulated by Slender Man into doing various different tasks for him. And this is going to become important in a little bit when I talk about the actual case. But, let's see. I think that the reason that Marble Hornets got so popular was not only because it was found footage, but also because you couldn't really tell if it was real or fake. It was very well done to the point where a lot of young viewers, including myself, was like, wow, this is scary. I hope I don't run into Slender Man in the woods. But then we get into the actual case of what happened. So this happened in Wisconsin in 2014. There were these two 12-year-old girls named Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire. So they actually believed that Slender Man was real and that he was going to hurt their families. So they essentially were like, we've got to do something about this. And in their minds, they thought the only way to appease Slender Man and prove that he was real was to sacrifice someone to him. So they lured their friend, her name's Peyton Leutner, into the woods, and they stabbed her 19 times, which is insane. Like 19 times.
Yeah.
Now after so they stabbed her, and when they were interviewed, they stated that their motivation, like their motive for doing it, was because, like I said, they thought Slender Man was going to hurt their families, but they also wanted to become proxies for Slender Man and prove that he was real. After stabbing her, they left her in the woods. They told her they were going to go get help, but they never came back. She was left for dead.
Yep.
The only way that she was able to survive is because she actually crawled through the woods until she found a road. And a miracle happened, and there was actually a cyclist who was biking down that road who had found her. So after he found her, she was taken to the hospital, and it took 6 hours of surgery, but they were able to stabilize her, and she did live. She was stuck in the hospital for 7 days before she was able to go home. But so that's pretty much it with that. So during the investigation,
I'll touch it up on. You'll probably mention it later about the one of the girls that was the stabber.
Yeah. So after she was found, like I said, she went to the hospital. She had 6 hours of surgery, was in there for 7 days. Police decided to further investigate, and during their investigation, they had learned that Morgan Geyser had been experiencing both visual and auditory hallucinations in her early childhood. She claimed that she would see ghosts, that she would see colors melting down walls, and that she had a bunch of imaginary friends. So in 2014 in the fall, she was actually relocated. So she was taken to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute and was studied. The reason for this was because they didn't know whether or not she was going to be competent to stand trial. And while she was there, she was diagnosed with early onset childhood schizophrenia. Now, she was there in that facility for a long time, and it didn't really help. Unfortunately, being in that facility only made her psychosis worse. Eventually, she was put on an antipsychotic medicine, and shortly after being put on this medicine, she was immediately remorseful for what she did. She felt guilt. She felt terrible. She wished that she hadn't done it.
Yeah.
So in 2017, both girls were actually charged as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were found not guilty by mental disease or defect. Anissa was only charged. She was charged an interdeterminate sentence, which essentially is a sentence that's like, we don't know how long the sentence is actually going to be. Essentially, we're putting you in a mental institution until we feel that you are competent to live on your own. So she was in there, and they sentenced her to 25 years, but they also stated that she had to at least be in the treatment for at least 3 years. As far as Morgan Geyser, she took a plea deal. She was also found not guilty by mental disease or defect. This was due to her diagnosis of schizophrenia, but she was given the maximum sentence of 40 years in the State Psychiatric Institute. Now, after this, eventually, Anissa was released. She was released and told that she must undergo supervision until she's 37 years old. Geyser, on the other hand, was released into a group home where she was also told that she needs to go under supervision, but she was told until the year 2058. So after that, nobody really heard from the case, didn't really hear any info about it until November of 2025. This is when Morgan Geyser decided to escape from her group home. She cut off her monitoring bracelet and met up with an acquaintance that she met. Eventually, after many hours, she was found. Both her and her acquaintance were found about 200 miles from her group home. And while they were both arrested, her friend was released. As of now, they are waiting for a court hearing. And that's kind of where the case is at the moment. There's not really been any update, but that's pretty much it. The reason I chose to pick this case in particular is not only did I love Slenderman, and I still do, like, it was one of my first things that I read growing up, like, that genuinely terrified me, that I read on the internet, but it's also one of the first times that a creepypasta or an internet story led to actual violence in real life.
Yep.
So I have a question for chat, and it is, what is your favorite creepypasta? If you have one. So the next thing that I want to talk about, and this one's going to be a little bit shorter. I didn't get to do as much research on this one, but this one is the Momo Challenge.
Oh no, yeah.
So this, for those who don't know, the Momo Challenge was a viral internet story that happened in the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019. And essentially, it was about this creepy figure called Momo who would contact children through social media and make them do these very dangerous tasks, which included, all kinds of things, including like self-harm and suicide. It really gained traction in February of 2019 because parents started posting warnings on Facebook about it, saying, hey, watch out. There's this thing going around called the Momo Challenge that people are losing their lives to it. Just pure panic. Eventually, it was picked up by national media, and it caused a worldwide panic. People were frightened to their core about this figure Momo contacting them or their children.
Yeah.
Now, when authorities looked into this, when they actually, took a look and investigated it, they found little to no evidence of a challenge ever existing. Pretty much saying, yeah, this is just another internet hoax. Really, what I like about this story is it's a great example of a moral panic, which, for those who don't know what that is, it's a situation where public fear is stronger than the threat itself. So, like, Momo wasn't actually a threat, but because there was so much fear that was spread, it became a national thing. So about Momo itself, the picture that most people would see with Momo was actually a sculpture, and it was called Mother Bird. It was made by a Japanese artist, and I'm probably going to butcher their name, but I'm going to say it. Kisuke Ayaso. And although, like I said, Momo was a viral hoax, it spread panic throughout the world so much, and it definitely caused people to be afraid, and it just shows how quickly that the internet can spread fear rather than facts. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I wrote for that section, but
Yeah.
I know I went a little bit fast, but
No, that was great. Oh my goodness. When you mentioned Momo at first, I thought it was Momo the monster, the Sasquatch that Baguette covered. But no, once you said Momo and then you described the bird, I'm like, oh, that's one. Oh, that's one. Yeah. And the first time I actually even heard about Momo was I was watching a video of a K-pop artist, and like one of the people said that she looked like Momo, and she started crying, and I was like, why is she upset? And then I had to look it up, and I'm all like, oh, that's fucking rude as hell. But yes, I didn't know about Momo too much. See, I didn't really get to hang out too much with creepypasta growing up, but I do recall that there are a couple stories that I've heard relating to it. I think that I really do like the concept of Herobrine. That was one of my faves for sure. After like hearing about
Yeah,
it, but the rake was also kind of creepy. Like for the creepy part, the rake is creepy, like super creepy for me. So.
yeah.
And then, speaking of challenges, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that because one of the topics for the Spooky Slumber Party is another dangerous internet challenge called the Blue Whale Challenge. And I don't know if you've
I've
heard
heard of
about
that
that
one.
one. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. So careful on the internet, my guys. Careful on the internet
Yep.
because people absolutely suck.
Unfortunately, they
Yeah.
do.
So,
I second that.
how did you get into creepypastas? Because for me, it wasn't something I discovered until I was older. I was kind of kept from parts of the internet there.
Um, so for me, I want to say the way that I got into creepypastas was I remember being a kid, and I want to say it was around like 2010, 2011, maybe 2012, just browsing YouTube, and I came across a YouTuber who he would like do these lists of things like top 10 scary movies or that sort of thing. And it was like top 25 creepypastas, and I'm like, what the heck's a creepypasta?
Yeah.
So I was interested in it. So I clicked it, and I'm just sitting here listening to all these stories, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, these are good. They're scary. They're, whether they're true or not, as a kid, you don't really know what to believe. But I was very intrigued with them. And so then after that, I found there was like this whole big creepypasta community of people that are like, hey, like I write this story, just sharing all these different stories that we would make up. And that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, for me, once I started, that's when I started really getting into it. Like, okay, I get it. I get like I'm kind of sad that I didn't experience it as soon as everybody else did. But Sassy, what'd you think of the topic? Sorry, there was something that I was gonna say, and then my brain shut down for a second there.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated in the Slenderman hoax and like just the lore behind him, and the actual Slenderman murders is very very fascinating
Oh,
to me, at least, because I have a very skeptical brain when it comes to spooky goings on, and I just really love nitpicking at how people can let themselves believe certain things, and that just the whole Slenderman thing is very fascinating for that. How people can trick themselves into giving away their own autonomy to basically themselves. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah. And it definitely just is not only is it a good example of mental illness, obviously, looking at it, she definitely needed help sooner. And I do think it's kind of weird because as I was doing some research, there was like an interview with her mom where she was like, yeah, I think she might be psychotic, but she didn't get her any kind of treatment. So that was a little weird to me. It's like, okay, if you think that she's psychotic, why didn't you like try to get her help or like therapy or anything? So it kind of does show the importance of mental health and, you know, looking at people and saying, okay, this person might need help and trying to reach out to people and help them.
yep.
yeah.
Um,
And don't be a bad parent.
That
Just
too.
a tip for all the parents out there.
my
Take care of your kids.
my other thing is you mentioned, yeah, even though it's true stories or made up stories, you still enjoy it. It's like it's enjoyable. Kind of like I didn't know much about SCPs, and once I started, I can understand like getting lost in like especially with how my brain sometimes work where you start to spiral. So you start with one thing and then you research something else and then you jump into the kind of like when I do my research, right? And so with once you open the SCPs and then you're just like, oh, and then you just click on one thing and then you're reading and you're like, oh, what's that? And then you research that and then all of a sudden you've spent 5 hours on the site and you're just like,
Where did time
okay.
go?
But yeah, some of
Yeah.
it's believable, some of it's not true, but it's still a fun and interesting read for sure. Yeah.
With the creepypastas SCPs, like I find it fascinating because it is just people doing creative writing for
Mm-hmm.
most part,
Yeah.
and then people just willingly believing it. Like it's like
I think I would say nowadays most people know that it's fiction, but I definitely think in the rise of creepypastas when it started, in the 2009, 2010 that era, more people were kind of skeptical because we didn't really know. I mean, as a kid, you're not really sure what's true or what's not true. So if you're just hearing this supposed found footage story of something that's happening that, even though it's like paranormal in your brain, you believe in ghosts, okay, well, then that's true. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the reason behind it. But like looking at the community now, as someone who's been a part of the creepypasta community for a while, I want to say a good 90% of the people know that like everything's fiction now. Every now and then you'll have one person that'll come in and say, wow, that's crazy that this happened. And they'll believe that it's true. But I feel like a good majority of people know that it's not a true story.
yeah.
But yeah, the internet is a fascinating place, but can also be a dangerous place. But
Very scary place.
I do enjoy the
Very.
creepypasta. And I watch I don't know if you guys have ever seen American Gods, the TV show.
Yes.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay, so American Gods, the whole premise of this show is pretty much about this guy's journey. And it also represents like gods nowadays where they have the old gods who are like disintegrating and slowly disappearing and decaying away because they're getting forgotten. And then they have new gods like social media is considered a new god. And in the show,
Interesting.
it's its own god and it's taking over. And so there's a war between the old gods and the new gods, right? And so in one episode, they talk about how if a person thinks of it and believes it, it comes to exist. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of like that because they were at it was like during an Easter episode and they were at a birthday celebration and you see all sorts of different versions of these gods. And one of the funniest things is there's like 25 different Jesus Christ, and all of them look differently. All of them have different, based on like how people envision who they are, right? And so because
Yeah.
people thought of them and started to believe in them, they then exist, and that's how they gain power. Is if a person starts to believe in you, then you start to gain power. And the more people believe in you, the more powerful you get. And you can see why gods like Bastet, who is like a cat for most of the show, she's just a small cat, is because she has so little followers. And then you see social media, who is larger than life, who has all these flowers, who is just so powerful. And then you've got Odin, who is like a god who is like, waiting for like is trying to come back and is like fighting, and he still has a strong base of believers that believe in him, but it's not grown as big as social media. So it's like a war of gods, right? So that's what the show is like. So who's to say that creepypastas and SCPs don't exist? Because if that concept is real, if someone creates it and believes it, then it makes them exist. It could be just a whole thing. You never know. People are
Yeah.
looking at time as linear and like everything is now, but we're learning that it's not. So here we are. We're in a weird
Yeah.
space where conspiracy theories are becoming more and more accurate than and more believable than what the truth that's being told us, is. So I think that that's
Yeah.
great. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say before we take our second break?
Yeah, like you were saying, Ducky, I think these things, if they could be real, are because of the phenomenon that I only found out about a few years ago called tulpas. So basically, it's the same concept you're talking about. If you believe in something strong enough, if the belief in that thing is strong enough, it becomes real, and that's what the Men in Black and the like evil children
The
are.
black-eyed children?
That black-eyed children, yeah, people
Mhm.
start believing in them, and they just popped into existence. So the way people see the Men in Black, there's like several different types of Men in Black, specifically because people believe in the types of Men in Black.
Yeah.
So once people start believing that they're something else belongs to him, you will see that more and more in like history and myths and all that jazz.
Yep.
It's
I love
really
the Men in
fun.
Black. I really do. Like, of all the conspiracy theories, I truly believe that the Men in Black is 100% true. Like, there is an agency of different alien species that coexist with us, and the Men in Black is their way of staying in touch and protecting us from things that we're not ready for, maybe, and stuff like that. So I do believe that they could exist because of that. And the fact that they have Men in Black have been mentioned in different alien cases for as long as I can even think of. And people didn't actually start believing that they were real and practical until like nowadays, you know? So I'm just saying there's also some basis that they've existed in a lot of the abduction stories, a lot of the alien encounters stories that have been in the past, the Men in Black have mentioned. So who knows? They also came from a comic book, or they have their own comic book or something like that. You guys ready? Let's take our second break. We'll be right back, you guys, and then we're going to go and move on to our lovely co-host Sassy Squatch's topic. And again, thank you, Zawko. I really appreciate you. That was a lot of fun. I didn't really know how serious the moment was. I thought it was like a joke. I didn't know that people took it seriously.
Oh yeah, it was a very like nationwide panic thing where people were afraid. A lot of people quit social media. Some people destroyed their phones. Like, it was a lot of just widespread fear. But like I said, when like actual authorities investigated it, they didn't find any evidence that there was like actually any challenges happening, or like there was any person or thing or group behind it.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, well, we'll be right back, you guys. Give us about 3 minutes. We're going to run a quick ad, and then we're going to go and replenish our waters if needed. And then we're going to have the amazing Sassy Squatch covering their topic. So hang in there, guys. We'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll stay thick.
And you stay spooky.